It's been an absolute Switch palooza here in January 2018 with all sorts of awesome announcements, but there's been so much hullabaloo that some have surely slipped through the cracks. That's why today we are here to pick out 5 game announcements that you may have missed that you definitely want to pay attention to. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force. Gabe is here, and with the recent Direct Mini, with the upcoming kids game announcement, with all of the stuff that has been squashed into such a small space, there have been some cool game announcements that you may have missed, and we're counting down 5 of them today. Gabe is going to kick it off with the one that I think we're most excited for. It was stealth announced, and it's coming out the soonest.
Yes, Night in the Woods, releasing on February 1st on Switch for $19.99. A very beautiful game. The art style alone should be enough to draw you in here, but there's also a ton of humor and charm to it. I'm really excited. It's been on other platforms. It won a ton of awards, and I know that Zach and I have both been looking forward to it, and now that it got stealth announced on Switch, perfect opportunity for us to jump on board.
Absolutely. It looks like our kind of humor, our kind of game. I like some of the creepy creatures and some of the just clever creatures that say things that seem like things Gabe would say, so I'm pretty darn pumped for this. Next up, we have Her Majesty Spiffy, which is releasing on February 1st as well. This is a point-and-click adventure that previously released on consoles and Steam in December of 2016, but it looks very interesting. It focuses and relies heavily, Gabe, on British humor, which I know is your cup of tea. So the funnies are going to have you giggling and guffawing all through space.
I'm ready. I mean, you could just imagine how I am going to be impersonating these very eccentric voices. They are obviously exaggerated, but it does look kind of cool. I'm digging the art style, and if the story is fun, I'm going to be really excited to get into it. After that, though, Zach, we're going to get into a little bit of a weird game, but it's a spiritual successor to Windjammers, Disc Jam, coming on February 8th for $14.99 on eShop. Zach, are you all about that Disc Jam life?
Surprisingly, I never played Disc Jam, which is just odd because I'm a huge fan of Windjammers, and I was so glad when they finally brought that back to modern platforms. I absolutely am going to be checking this out. I love sports. I think it looks super cool. Gabe, I want to throw discs at you. It is coming out on February 8th for $14.99, and I think that we both need to get this, and we need to see who is the better hurler of flat objects.
Yes, a fun combination of hockey and tennis. I think this is going to be a fun one.
Absolutely. Next up, on February 28th, we have Immortal Redneck, which is a roguelike first-person shooter that involves a redneck. And Gabe, this was your jam, so I'm going to let you take the floor.
Look, it's an old-school RPG with frantic gameplay. It has twitch controls, arcade-style roguelike mechanics, randomly generated dungeons. It kind of fills a lot of boxes. It does have a complete skill tree, over 50 different weapons, over 100 scroll modifiers, over 35 enemies, huge bosses, a merchant for you to buy things from, there's skill rooms. There's a lot in the game. And it was recently announced, and I thought it looked kind of cool. It has been out on other platforms before. On Steam, it does have overwhelmingly positive reviews, and I think it looks really cool, and it is an FPS on Switch, something that we don't get a ton of, so I am excited.
Absolutely. And the last game is, gosh, this is a special one. You remember Punch-Out, Gabe?
I remember Punch-Out, yes.
It's such a good game, and it's such a good franchise, and I love that it has such simplistic but skill-based gameplay. That's what I loved about Super Punch-Out. So I loved about the new Punch-Out on Wii. I was a little too young to dip my toes in the difficult waters of Punch-Out NES, but Pato Box is bringing back that entire feeling with a black and white game about a duck who is taking on all sorts of boxing-style bosses, but they are more than just boxers. There are crazy people that are flinging hot soup at him and weird just robotic witches. It's got all sorts of awesome bosses in that boxing style. I think it's going to be fantastic. There's no release date yet, but this is one that has instantly elevated towards the top of my Switch list because it looks so innovative and so awesome. It's from a small studio. I love Pato Box, and Gabe the Duck reminds me of you.
Yes, in black and white, very stylized. I think it looks really cool. So that's another one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, gonna be a really good month, especially for indies in February. There's a lot of great stuff coming out. Let us know which of these you are most pumped for. Again, running from the top, Night in the Woods on February 1st, Her Majesty Spiffing also on that same day, Disc Gem on February 8th, Immortal Redneck on the 28th, and Pato Box hopefully coming soon. We'll be covering the entirety of February's Switch lineup in a follow-up video, but we just wanted to point these out because they were announced recently and lost amongst the shuffle for some Switch owners, and we wanted to give you an idea of some of the goods coming to your favorite hybrid. Also, all of these games relate to Gabe in some way or another, so they have a special place in our heart.
Yes.
Until next time, everybody, thanks so much for watching with us today. Stay tuned for more. Subscribe, follow us on Twitter. Links in the description. We love you. For myself and Gabe, Switch Force, out.